Save up to $1,000 more on Blue Tag items at Belfort Furniture.
Tonight, the deadly flash flooding as we come on the air. The water rescue's underway. Bystanders can be seen forming a human chain in the east. And the new warnings just issued late this afternoon here in the Northeast. Authorities tonight say take this seriously. And meteorologist Rob Marciano is standing by in the middle of it all. Also, the mudslides in the west, a car swallowed into a sinkhole, the evacuations at Yosemite, and the new fire that just broke out, now raging outside Los Angeles. The police video sparking outrage tonight. The man with the gun appearing to run from police, shot in the back and killed. What police now say happened beforehand. President Trump under pressure after his own tariffs, many believe igniting a trade war. Several countries retaliating, American farmers paying the price. Well, late today, what the president is now promising. The surprise development involving Vladimir Putin's visit to the U.S. and the secret recording of the president by his longtime fixer and lawyer Michael Cohen. You will hear the conversation about Cash, a former Playboy playmate, and the owner of the National Enquirer. Developing now, the search intensifying for that missing college student vanishing while jogging. What authorities with the FBI on the scene are now saying about her boyfriend and about the Fitbit they hope she was wearing. And there is news tonight about singer Demi Lovato, the suspected overdose, and tonight what someone administered on the scene. Did it save her life?
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Wednesday night, and we begin with the dangerous flash flooding in the east. It has turned deadly. Flash flood warnings and watches are up right now for 30 million Americans tonight. Major flooding in Pennsylvania with high water rescues playing out today. More rain is on the way tonight. In Emerald Isle, North Carolina, one person was killed in a deadly rip current. The images coming in of beachgoers forming that human chain. And in Colorado tonight, heavy rain in the burn scar area of Durango causing floods and mudslides. Where this all hits tonight, both in the east and in the west, and ABC's David Curley leading us off from the storm zone.
Flash flooding is tonight forcing rivers from their banks. High water surrounding homes in central Pennsylvania.
You can see a couple of the family members in the raft right now. Others are waiting on the porch to be removed.
Rescuers able to move this family of 5 and their 4 pets safely to dry ground.
If you live by a creek, you know it's going to flood, get out. They just put 8 lives in danger today by ignoring the signs and the rain around them.
To the south in Hershey, more than 24 people evacuated by boat as the water crept up. Wendell Rittenhouse decided to stay.
But you're just watching this water creep up toward your house?
Yes, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Still sweeping out the water as it keeps seeping into his basement.
This is all day, all night you're going to be doing this?
Probably.
Nearby Hershey Park closed until at least Friday. And in nearby Hummelstown,
more than 10 inches of rain in 5 days here in central Pennsylvania, compounding the problem when debris clogs a bridge. A dumpster over here creating even more flooding.
All that rain saturating the ground. And new dash cam video showing a tree crashing onto power lines in Culpeper, Virginia Monday, narrowly missing an SUV. And along the North Carolina coast, deadly rip currents. Beachgoers in Emerald Isle forming a human chain, pulling people out of the water. Tragically, at least one person drowning there.
Authorities saying take those rip currents very seriously. David Curley live from Hummelstown, Pennsylvania. We see the water there behind you, David. We know the river has crested and more rain in the forecast tonight.
It's raining right now, David. Another inch or 2 expected tonight. It's only going to add to all these floodwaters and the devastation of these neighborhoods that have been hit so hard by these storms. David?
David Curley on the scene for us. David, thank you. That dangerous flooding shut down Hershey Park in Pennsylvania today. The popular tourist attraction was closed Monday as well. And with the heavy rain David just mentioned, it'll be closed again tomorrow. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano live there tracking the flood warnings here in the east, the concerns in the west. Rob, take it away.
Good evening, David. 5 days of heavy rain here in Hershey and another strong push coming tonight. We've got a flash flood warning up for much of the Susquehanna Valley, and the risk for dangerous flooding exceeds into parts of central New York. There you see it. The front finally going to squeeze off to the east, so look for heavy rain to to increase in D.C., Philly, New York tonight, Boston as well. You're under a flash flood watch for 1 to 3 inches of additional rainfall. A couple of severe watch boxes out in the Midwest, including Colorado, which has had its fair share of flash flooding this week. And the heat continues to build out west with heat alerts all the way up into western Washington state, where fires continue to burn. They can only dream of this kind of rain. David?
Rob Marciano with us live tonight in a very wet Pennsylvania. Rob, thank you. And as Rob mentioned there, the concern growing in the west tonight. Visitors to Yosemite National Park were given until noon today to evacuate. The wildfire burning at the edge of the park is now filling the valley with thick smoke, causing air quality concerns. Tourists crowding into the park office. They were checking out, ending their visits at the height of the summer season. And then late today, a new fire igniting in Southern California. The Cranston Fire, as it's called, forcing mandatory evacuations in Idlewild and Mountain Center. Hundreds of homes are threatened tonight. Arson is suspected, and we're told a person is being questioned at this hour. To the president tonight, under pressure after his own tariffs igniting a trade war, other countries retaliating. It has many American farmers paying the price. You heard from many of them last night right here. Well, tonight the president with a new promise, reaching out to the European Union. He called them a foe just a week ago, but late today calling a press conference outside the White House to say they will now work together. ABC's Terry Moran at the White House tonight.
Reeling under increasing pressure from American farmers, congressional Republicans, and nervous Wall Street investors, President Trump suddenly shed his trade warrior persona today and declared a truce with the European Union.
So we had a big day, very big. We met right here at the White House to launch a new phase in the relationship between the United States and the European Union.
Yes, that European Union. This is how the president described it just 10 days ago.
I think the European Union is a foe, what they do to us in trade.
Trump has imposed massive tariffs on steel and aluminum on the EU, Mexico, Canada, and China. And those countries swiftly retaliated by slapping sweeping penalties on an array of American products. Hardest hit, farmers, a crucial segment of the president's political base. Greg Hora has been raising hogs in Fort Dodge, Iowa for years.
We need the administration to come to these deals quickly and not have agriculture products like pork used as a retaliation tool in these trade negotiations.
In Pennsylvania, Richard Schlossberg grows soybeans.
I understand why he's trying to do it, but it's affecting farmers in a negative way.
So yesterday, a bailout. President Trump promising farmers a whopping $12 billion in emergency payments right before the midterm elections. Congressional Republicans who ran on free trade and budget discipline hated it.
And farmers don't want a dole. They want to trade. They don't want aid.
All that led to today's declaration. Tariffs remain in place for now, but the U.S. and EU will work together to open markets completely.
This is why we agreed today, first of all, to work together towards zero tariffs, zero non-tariff barriers, and zero subsidies on non-auto industrial goods.
Just 10 days ago, as Trump was calling Europe a foe, he was extolling his burgeoning friendship with Russian President Vladimir Putin, who said he wanted Trump to win in 2016.
President Putin, did you want President Trump to win the election?
Yes, I did, Putin said. When he returned from Helsinki, Trump invited Putin to the White House in the fall, but the response from the Kremlin decidedly cool. And today, the National Security Council announced there would be no meeting, blaming the Russia investigation, saying in a statement, the president believes that the next bilateral meeting with President Putin should take place after the Russia witch hunt is over. More than a week after Helsinki, it's still unclear what Putin and Trump discussed in their closed-door 2-hour meeting. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo grilled on Capitol Hill today.
Has the president told you what he and President Putin discussed in their 2-hour closed-door meeting in Helsinki?
The presidents have a prerogative to choose who's in meetings or not. I'm confident you've had private one-on-one meetings in your life as well.
I asked you a simple question. I hope we're going to get through it. Did he tell you what transpired in the 2-hour meeting?
I've had a number of conversations with President Trump about what transpired in the meeting.
The back and forth on Capitol Hill today. Terry Moran live at the White House tonight, and Terry, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says President Trump did brief him on that one-on-one meeting with Putin, the two behind closed doors, for 2 hours, in fact. But Secretary Pompeo, you were watching as well, Terry, seemed reluctant to go into detail with Congress today.
And the lack of those details, David, that's got senators in both parties worried. The Kremlin is already declaring that, quote, important verbal agreements were reached that they're beginning to implement. Senators want to know, were there any deals? What were they? And given that there were no note takers or other officials in the room, is President Trump at the mercy of President Putin's version of events. David?
Terry Moran with us again tonight. Thank you, Terry. And now to the secret recording of the president by his former fixer and personal attorney, Michael Cohen. Tonight, you will hear the conversation about Cash, a former Playboy playmate, and the owner of the National Enquirer. That conversation just 2 months before the election. Here's ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas.
It was clear. Just days before the 2016 election, the Trump campaign spokeswoman emphatically denied her boss had an affair with Playboy model Karen McDougal a decade before. Hicks called the allegation totally untrue. McDougal had sold her story for $150,000 to the publisher of the National Enquirer. They apparently bought it in order to bury it, a practice known as catch and kill. Hicks claimed, "We have no knowledge of any of this." But in a conversation secretly recorded 2 months earlier, a very different story emerges.
What's up, Mike?
Trump and his former attorney and fixer Michael Cohen apparently discussing a plan to buy the rights of McDougal's story themselves from the Enquirer's publisher, American Media Incorporated, which is owned by Trump's close friend, David Pecker. Cohen proposes using a shell company to do the deal.
I need to open up a company for the transfer of all of that info regarding our friend David, so that I'm going to do that right away.
Cohen says he's already set the wheels in motion with a top Trump organization official, and Trump apparently mentions a price tag, $150,000, the same amount AMI paid the former playmate.
And I've spoken to Alan Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up with funding. Yes.
But the next portion of the tape is in dispute as the men discuss how to pay. President Trump's current attorney, Rudy Giuliani, says the president wants to pay by check. So there's a record.
We listened to it numerous times, and the transcript makes it quite clear at the end that President Trump says, quote, "Don't pay with cash."
But Cohen's attorney says the recording shows the president actually wants to pay with cash.
We know that Trump used the word cash, and people who use cash, Rudy Giuliani knows when he's U.S. attorney, are either drug dealers or mobsters.
Listen carefully and judge for yourself.
When it comes time for the financing, which will be...
Listen. What financing?
We'll have to pay you. So
I'll pay with cash.
No. No.
At that point, the tape cuts out. But tonight, one thing is indisputable. The president is furious his former fixer secretly recorded their conversation. What kind of lawyer would tape a client, he tweeted. So sad.
The president clearly upset about this. Pierre Thomas joins us from Washington. Pierre, many people do not think their attorney is recording them. But the other major question in this story, Donald Trump's campaign spokeswoman at the time said the president did not know about the arrangement with Karen McDougal. But this recording has them talking about money, about the owner of the National Enquirer, among other things.
David, there's a lot of debate about this tape, but it does appear that despite those denials during the campaign, then candidate Trump was very aware of the Playmate controversy and efforts to spike her story. David?
Pierre Thomas live from Washington. Pierre, thank you. And from Chicago at this hour, newly released police body cam video of a fatal shooting. It's causing outrage. The video showing Maurice Granton shot in the back by police after appearing to run away from them and then laying there for several minutes with no one giving him aid. What police tonight say happened beforehand, and we should warn you, the video is disturbing. Here's Alex Perez from Chicago.
Tonight, growing questions for the Chicago Police Department after the release of this controversial body cam video. It shows the moments leading up to an officer shooting and killing 24-year-old Maurice Granton Jr.
I saw my son, Maurice Granton Jr., my DNA, my blood, just get murdered in cold blood by a Chicago policeman.
In the video, which is difficult to watch, Granton is seen running from police attempting to scale a fence when an officer opens fire. Witnesses nearby in an uproar as Granton lay on the ground dying. The shooting happened June 6th. Police were carrying out a drug investigation, and at the time, Chicago police said Granton was armed when he was shot. A police spokesman did tweet a picture of a weapon. And in the video, you can hear officers talking about a gun nearby. But the family say the video shows no weapon in Granton's hands.
At no point in this video was my son armed, and in no point in the video was it a confrontation. He was running.
Chicago police say they are cooperating with the independent investigation. Attorneys for the family say they do intend to file a civil lawsuit. David?
All right, Alex Perez in Chicago. Thank you, Alex. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Wednesday. News tonight about Demi Lovato, the suspected overdose, and what happened at her home right before she was rushed to the hospital. Also ahead tonight, the search now intensifying. The FBI on the scene for that missing college student who vanished while jogging. What they did say today